Today's story is about an extremely psycho babysitter and the crazy stuff she does. Also, it got so bad that, the police ended up getting involved, so yeah, it got pretty crazy. So with that being said, grab your popcorn, grab your microphone, grab your, I don't know, your Xbox, your Bitcoin mining machine, and your coffee, and yeah, let's just jump right into it. Story, we're gonna call this guy Nick, right? So Nick, who sent in the story, he was, he was older, but he wasn't like old enough to be left alone at the house without a babysitter. Nick also had a younger brother. We're just going to call him, the brother, right? Nick's brother. It's just easier that way. So Nick and his brother, their parents, or Nick's parents, I'll just say. Nick's parents, they have something to do from like 7 to 1. So obviously they need to hire a babysitter. So anyways, right, the night kind of like rolls around and, Nick and his brother are upstairs and then they hear a doorbell ring and they hear Nick's mom go like to Nick's dad, like, quickly go do this. And then she like says, oh, I'll just go down and say hi. Nick's mom goes downstairs. It's like, oh, how's it going? Thank you so much for coming over. Kind of standard mom stuff like that. Because I don't know. It's always like the same interaction. It's like, oh, I know this is going to be kind of a weird tangent, but I feel like whenever two moms see each other, either they're best friends or they barely know each other or they're like new acquaintances or mortal enemies half the time. They're like, oh my God. And like the dads, even if they're meeting their best friend that they've known for like years and years, are always like, sup, like, yo, or they'll just make eye contact, dude. I don't know, I always just found that kind of funny. But anyways, right, the mom is like greeting the babysitter, thank you so much for coming, here's my number if you need anything, we actually have to like go in like 5 minutes, I'm sorry, I'm gonna run back upstairs and just finish some stuff up. And then the mom, Nick's mom says Nick, and then says Nick's brother's name as well. I just don't feel like making a name up because it'll get too complicated. You guys always call me out when I keep messing up the names, which I always do. But anyways, right, she calls for them to come downstairs. So Nick and his brother, they head downstairs. And honestly, they don't really think anything of it because, dude, it's just a babysitter. They've had plenty of babysitters. However, this one was new. So they had like a babysitter that always came, but, she actually recently just went off to college. And so she obviously couldn't be babysitting them anymore because she went to college in a different state. And she's not about to drive, across country, right? Not about to, like, get into her car, pay for, like, hundreds of dollars worth of gas, drive cross country just to babysit these kids. So they had to get a new babysitter. So they were, like, kind of, like, they were interested, right? They were like, okay, we'll see how this girl is. So when they go downstairs, right, Nick and his brother, they meet the babysitter. She's like, hi, my name is, we're going to call her babysitter. Hi, my name is babysitter. Imagine if your parent, imagine getting basically, here's the thing, getting a terrible name at birth is like getting spawn killed, bro. Like, you have no chance out of the bat. Like, imagine you were named babysitter or like atomic mass or log or Italian roast dark Starbucks coffee. I was just looking at that right in front of me. Stuff's pretty good. But anyways, right, so they go downstairs and they're like, hey, how's it going? And they meet the babysitter. Babysitter seems pretty chill enough. Anyways, right, so, the parents eventually leave and they say, oh, thank you so much for coming. Like, here's my number if you need anything. And we have to go. I'm so sorry. And, they run out. And, yeah, now it's just the babysitter, Nick, and his brother. And the babysitter's like, hey, guys, like, I'm your babysitter. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight. I only have a couple ground rules, like, please just respect whatever rules your parents have. They obviously haven't told me all of them. So, like, don't take advantage of me and say, oh, yeah, my mom lets me eat ice cream, like, all the ice cream in the fridge and stay up till, like, 1 in the morning. That's a classic thing. Like, just don't take advantage of me, guys. Second thing is just, like, if I ask you to do something, please do it. I'm not unreasonable. But if I ask for something, there's a good reason usually. So they're like, yeah, of course. Like, yeah, like, got you. Guy, got you, bro. No, they're like, yeah, it's chill. It's fine. Like, I got you. And so anyways, right, the babysitter makes a dinner. And don't worry, this dinner is normal, unlike the other dinners that past babysitters and Storytimes have done, especially the nasty babysitter. Part 1 and Part 2. That was a doozy, bro. That was a struggle to even tell. If you're thinking it's hard to watch those videos, it was hard to tell those videos. Anyways, right, so, it's a very normal night. And after dinner, right, they go up, watch a little bit of TV. And then around, like, 8:30, the babysitter's, all right, guys, like, you don't have to go to bed, but I'd really like if you guys went up, got ready for bed, and we're just chilling in your rooms. And, I'm not going to come in and check to make sure you're asleep, so you can really do what you want, but just be in your beds, just be, behaved or whatever. And that was a little bit strange because, like, their bedtime was 9:30, it was 8:30, so it was, like, an hour before. And the little brother was about to say something, but Nick was like, kind of looked at him like, no, don't worry about it, because like the deal actually wasn't too bad for them because they were able to go back to their rooms and they could probably stay up all night, like if they really wanted to. The babysitter said that she wasn't going to care or check, so they're like, okay, sure. However, though, Nick was a little suspicious because that was kind of weird. Like, why would the babysitter tell us to go to bed early, but then also say she doesn't care what we do and we don't actually have to go to bed? Basically, as long as we're out of her hair is what she's trying to say. And then Nick was like, okay, sure. So Nick and the brother go upstairs, they brush their teeth, and they're just like, they're playing some Minecraft together, right? They're just playing Minecraft together, and then they hear a car pull up, and they're like, oh, wow, our parents are back already? Like, why would they buy a babysitter if they're just gone for a couple hours? So Nick's little brother runs up to the window, and he looks out, and he's looking at not the parking lot, but the driveway, and there's a car pulled up into the driveway, and people get out of it, but it's not their parents' car. And those aren't the parents getting out of the car. It's a random guy and two other guys. And at first, like, Nick's little brother's like, oh my God, are we getting robbed? So, Nick is like at first like pretty concerned that, their house is about to be robbed or something, bro. Like they're about to be jumped. No, but like, anyways, so he's about to go downstairs and like inform the babysitter, like, dude, there's people coming in the house. What do we do? And, Nick goes like motions to his little brother, like, stay here, like chill, like stay up here. And anyways, right, so, Nick is about to go down the stairs. He's out of his room, and then he, like, goes to the stairwell, but the stairwell's kind of curved. So instead, right, he's about to go down the stairs. He hears the door open. He's like, oh, my God. He freezes because, like, he's not going to run into a firefight, right? And then he hears the babysitter being like, hey, what's up? And then he immediately realizes, right, like, these aren't some strangers, bro. These are guests. These are guests invited by the babysitter. She knows who these guys are, right? So then, Nick is like, he freezes on the stairs, and he kind of just chills there for a second. He's like, okay, so we're not about to get robbed. However, right, the babysitter did invite people over, and I'm fairly certain that, my parents would not, like, be chill with that. He said, but he was thinking, he's like, you know what, however, right, I'm not going to rat on her. Like, Nick was like, dude, there's no point in me, like, calling her out or anything, or, like, calling my parents. Like, it just, I don't know, it just doesn't make sense. So he goes back up, and Nick's little brother's like, are there robbers in the house? Do I need to hide? Do I need to jump out of the window? Like, oh my God. And Nick's like, dude, don't worry. Like, these guys, like, know the babysitter. She's probably not supposed to be having people over, but, like, whatever. Let's just stay up here. Let's just chill. We'll let them do whatever. Like, it's fine. So anyways, right, they're just playing some Xbox, chilling, having a good time. And the thing is what happened, right, the babysitter invited these people over, and, apparently one was, like, a boyfriend or whatever. I'm not 100% sure how Nick, the subscriber, knew that, but I'm just going to take it at face value. Apparently one was the boyfriend, and two were just, like, mutual friends of all three of them. But what ended up happening, right, was Nick and his little brother were just there, chilling, playing some Minecraft, right, playing some Bed Wars duels or whatever. I don't even care, right, they're just playing some Minecraft, they're chilling, they're having a good time, they're having a good night, man. But anyways, right, they're just chilling, and then they hear a crash, and then they hear two guys yelling, and they're like, oh no, dude. So Nick says, hey, like, chill, like, stay here. And Nick's little brother's like, bro, I want to see you too. He's like, dude, I don't know how safe it is. Like, I'm going to be back in 1 second. I just want to, like, see what's going on. So what Nick does is he goes to the stairs and he kind of, like, slowly creeps down the stairs, right? And he turns and he kind of, like, turns at an angle where he can see what's going on, kind of, but he can't be seen. And what happens, right, is that there's the two guys, right, not the boyfriend of the babysitter who also came over, but the two mutual friends, right? They were in the kitchen. And they were yelling at each other. Like, they were legitimately about to get into a fight. And all of a sudden, right, they start throwing stuff at each other. Like, they legitimately start, like, picking up kitchen appliances, picking up stuff on the counters, picking up, like, those, like, bread roller things. Like, one of those, dude. Like, they just start chucking that stuff at each other. And obviously, the babysitter's like, oh, my God. Like, this cannot be happening. So the babysitter and the boyfriend, they get up from their couch. They get up from their seat. At this point, right, Nick is just, like, on the stairwell. It's like turned around. He's like completely hiding right now, but he's watching the whole thing go down. And like the babysitter and the boyfriend and her boyfriend, like they run over, and right before they're able to like actually, fix what's going on, like before they're actually able to break up the fight or something like that, right? One of the guys, when he's throwing something, it's pretty big, it's pretty heavy, and it ends up going through the kitchen window. Yeah, Nick is there and he hears like the glass shatter. And at that point, right, the two guys, they just stop fighting without even being like pulled apart by the the girlfriend or the babysitter and her boyfriend, right? Because at this point they're like, okay, we just like broke a ton of stuff and we just broke a window. Like, shoot, like what were we even fighting over? Definitely not worth it. Little bit of a side tangent, but bro, why do people even get into fights? I know you're probably thinking like, dude, what are you even saying? But no, legitimately, think about it. Especially like kids at school, like they'll be like, oh my God, you disrespected my mother when you said I'm gonna bang your mom, LOL. Like, first of all, trolling, who cares? But then they're like, oh my God, I'm gonna get into a fight. So they actually like clear out the hallway. There's a big group of people being like, fight, and they go in and they like maybe land a punch. And then they both get expelled like idiots. Like, bro, you played yourself. I don't care if you're defending your honor. You're not defending your honor. You're defending your crown of being a complete idiot, dude. Oh my God. I'm sorry. Like, I don't know. I just went off on that. But it just never made sense to me, dude. But anyways, right. So after they were in this big fight and they broke the window, the babysitter's like, oh my God, like, how do I explain this? So Nick is like, okay, like, shoot, I totally forgot. He runs up, he goes up to his room, and he tells his little brother what happens. He basically like, yo, like these two guys got in a fight. They broke a lot of stuff, and then they also ended up breaking a window. And then Nick's like, dude, just stay here. Like, I don't know, we might want to call our parents, but I just want to go down and like see what's about to happen, right? So Nick eventually, he goes down and, he's still hiding, right? And the babysitter's like, oh my God, what do we do? Because like the other three guys were in there trying to like fix stuff, put stuff back into place. But bro, they legitimately like broke a lot of expensive stuff. Like, in the kitchen, there's a lot of appliances to like do stuff. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? And they like a lot of stuff was kind of like chipped or sharded or broken or cracked or whatever. And like obviously the window, which was like shattered, is like that thing, you can't put that back together. It's not like you're gonna like meticulously glue back every shard of glass into a full-fledged window pane and have no one notice that. No one's gonna be the wiser, bro. They won't notice 100,000 cracks in this pane, and also the fact that it's just gonna break by the wind blowing at it. Like, that was some damage that couldn't be fixed, but they were at least trying to clean it up to kind of like just try and mitigate some of the damage, dude. And that's when Nick heard it. That's when Nick heard the police sirens. Speaking of police sirens, today's secret word is police. So if you made it this far into the video, comment police down below. I will try and heart as many of those as I can, which honestly, I think I'll be able to heart more than I did for yesterday. Yesterday, I was just incredibly busy, so I don't take it personally if you didn't get a heart. I might also try and heart all those comments like days later, but I'm gonna heart as many as I can. But still, once again, I can't get to them all. I just want to say thank you guys so much for just giving me watch time. I do love it, and because I'm so grateful and so thankful, I will let you know on a little secret. The secret is that today is your lucky day. Today's your lucky day, baby. Today's your lucky day, because today, if you leave a like on today's video, just simply leaving a like, you will receive nothing. It's going to take about 2 to 3 business days to receive your nothing. But if you want to shave off a day on that order, it will legitimately only take 1 to 2 days if you also turn on notifications to the channel. But yeah, if you want to claim your free like and get it really quickly, leave a like on the video and hit those notices while you're out there. Back to the story. Well, anyways, right, Nick hears the police sirens, and then he hears the babysitter go, oh shit, like, oh god damn, like, oh no, dude, like, I'm actually screwed at this point. And the guys are like, bro, we gotta go. And she's like, you guys aren't going anywhere. If we're getting caught, you're explaining what's going on, right? And eventually, right, so you hear the sirens. Nick runs up and he goes to his brother. His brother's like starting to cry a little bit. His younger brother is like 6 or whatever. And Nick's like, dude, don't worry about it. Like, I think the police are just coming to check. I think someone probably called like the police on us because like the disturbance or whatever, and they were just worried. Don't worry about it. Just stay up here. Things will be all good. And so, yeah, so the police pull up and they pull into the driveway. They get out and you hear a big loud knock on the door. And at this point, right, Nick, he goes down the stairs, but he's in the same position as before where he can kind of see and definitely hear what's going on. But he's just like in a position where he can't be found, really. Like, he's just hiding out at like they can't find him, right? They can't see him at least. And the police officer comes in and says, hey, we got a noise disturbance. And he looks into the kitchen. He because he's like kind of looking around, see what's going on. He sees 3 other guys there and a babysitter, or just this girl at this point doesn't know it's a babysitter, and sees a lot of just destruction in the kitchen. He's like, what went on over here? And she's like, oh, sir, like, just a little bit of an accident over here. He said, that is a little bit of an accident. I wouldn't call it little, right? And he's like, are you guys the homeowner of this house? And she's like, no, I'm actually just babysitting, right? And he's like, can I have the number of the homeowner? And she's like, I don't have it, which is a lie because she legitimately got the homeowner's number. And at this point, right, At this point, Nick decided to like actually like come out of his hiding. He ran downstairs. He's like, "Hi, officer. I actually have the number of the homeowner." And the babysitter looks at Nick, not with a face of like, "I hate you, kid," right? Because like he's just look, she knows he's just doing what he's supposed to be doing, but kind of a look of like, "Well, it's nice knowing you. I'm screwed now." Anyways, right, the police officer ends up getting the number of the homeowner, which is, the mom, and, he steps outside, he basically calls to say what's happening, and obviously, like, Nick's mom was pissed, right? None of that should have happened, right? And also the fact that the police got involved, and, the fact that the police were called because one of the neighbors thought that, like, they were legitimately in trouble or something, like, that's embarrassing, plus there's a lot of, like, broken stuff, and, like, the police officer explained, like, dude, there's, like, a lot of broken stuff in here, like, just a heads up. And so, yeah, Nick's mom came back with, like, Nick's dad. They come in. At this point, right, the babysitter's still there, but the other three guys have dipped at this point. And, the police officer's like, hey, like, the police officer stays just like at the scene of the crime or whatever. And he let the other guys go, but got their contact information just in case, like, there's actual, like, case filed or something like that. And the mom gets in there, and the mom has no filter. She's not, I mean, it's okay, she's like cussing out the babysitter, bro. She's mad. She's chewing her out, bro. Like, she is mad. She's yelling at, like, you're supposed to babysit my kids. Instead, you bring in these, like, crazy hooligans that fight with each other and destroy my house. My kids could have gotten in the midst of this. You weren't even paying attention. Yeah, et cetera, right? And the babysitter's, like, kind of in tears, like, oh my God, like, I'm so sorry. I didn't expect this to happen, man. Oh my God, dude, my actions have consequences. Oh my God. Like, don't get it twisted. I've messed up a lot in the past, but I'm kind of a guy who's definitely like accept that like I'm in the wrong, and like if I mess up, it's on me. But bro, there's so many people that are like, oh my God, dude, why do my actions have consequences? That is my favorite line from The Simpsons, when Homer is like, oh, why do my actions have consequences? Bro, it's so accurate too. Anyways, right, so the babysitter, she's in pretty big trouble. So what ends up happening, right, is, Nick's mom, Nick's mom and Nick's dad come back, and they basically relieve the babysitter of duty for the night. It's only like 11 or something at this point. And basically what happens is Nick's mom contacts the mom of the babysitter, because, it was pretty easy to find her on Facebook, whatever. Told her what happened, right? The mom, like, wrote back, like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. She's grounded. I took her keys away, whatever. And also, Nick's dad went around and kind of tallied up how much damage was done. And Nick's mom sent over to the babysitter, like, hey, I don't know how you want to split it up with the three other guys that were over here. Like, I don't know if you just want to make the two guys, who were fighting, like, pay for it. But here's a $1,500 bill. Like, we were being generous with you guys and rounded down on a lot of stuff. But this is a minimum of the damages it's going to cost for us to fix it. Like, and if you don't want to pay this, we will legitimately take you to court. Not trying to go there. So we're just trying to do this without having to do all the legal stuff, which would be, trust me, much more expensive for both of us. So yeah, the two guys who got into a fight ended up, paying, money to the babysitter, who paid money to Nick's mom. And Nick, next time, needed a babysitter, Nick's mom, he got a different babysitter. Believe it or not, shocker. Oh my God, that's crazy. Subscribe if you haven't already. Now go watch another video. There's some on screen. Click it. Click it or I'll cry. In today's subscriber story, this babysitter who seemed to be normal at first turns evil incredibly quickly. I don't want to spoil anything, but it gets so bad that the police get involved. Enjoy the story. So this story happens when the subscriber who sent in the story was 12. And he also had a younger brother, and his younger brother was 10. And this was a Friday night, the night that this all went down, right? So he was old. Like, 12 is getting old, right? You can fend for yourself a little bit at least. But he was still not really at the point where his parents were 100% comfortable leaving him for the house and taking care of his little brother for, many hours at a time. Maybe in a year's time or even like 6 months' time, they would have considered it. But at this point, they were like, you know what? We're still going to have a babysitter at least for a little bit longer. Subscriber, it wasn't totally thrilled at the time because, when you're 12 or 13, you're starting to be, you're starting to feel like you're a big kid, right? And you don't want to have a babysitter anymore. But there wasn't really anything he could do, right? He's still living, at his parents' house under their control. If they want a babysitter, man, they're getting a babysitter. So the parents this Friday night had a pretty big party that they're going to, and they were going to be out till like 12, maybe even 1 in the morning, and they were leaving at like 6. So they were going to be gone for a decently long amount of time. Maybe if they were gone for like an hour or two, or maybe they they were closer, maybe they would have considered not having a babysitter. But for this event specifically, and also because the guy just wasn't old enough yet, they decided to hire a babysitter. So the subscriber and his little brother are kind of just waiting around, and his parents are all ready to go. And, it's about like 10 minutes before they're going to go. They're getting all like, they're dressed, they're like getting the money ready to pay the babysitter in advance, right? All this good stuff. And they hear a ring at the door. So the little brother and the subscriber, they walk down and they see their mom talking to the babysitter. And she kind of seems like she's normal, whatever. No like immediate red flags. Haha. There was a massive one, but they didn't see it. Anyways, right, so the babysitter comes in, she introduces herself, and her name is Cassidy, but we might just call her the babysitter. Her name isn't actually Cassidy, I just wanted to give her a name, and maybe I'll refer to her as babysitter or Cassidy, we'll see. So while the parents are still there, and also while the parents are still in earshot, Cassidy the babysitter is like, "Hi kids, like my name's Cassidy, we're gonna have a lot of fun tonight, like I also know like that you're a little older," speaking to the subscriber, "so I'll let you have a lot of control of what we do. I'm just here to make sure that everything is normal," right? She was acting like a totally normal and a super good babysitter. Subscriber's like, "Oh, well, I mean, we have like frozen pizza in the refrigerator. It'd be cool if we could microwave some of that or heat it up in the oven. And then there's a movie I really wanted to watch with my younger brother anyways. So if you wanted to just hang out with us while you're doing that, like we don't even mind if you're on your phone the entire time. Like that's totally cool." And she says, "Oh, thank you guys. Like, tonight sounds like it'll be pretty good." And the subscriber and his little brother were kind of thinking to themselves, "Yeah, this is going to be a chill night. This is going to be a solid Friday night. Like I'm kind of excited." Let me just say, it was not a chill Friday night at all, but we'll get to that. Give me a sec. Anyways, right, so the parents are finally done getting ready. So they go to the door and they go to like Cassidy and they give her like $20 in advance. They're going to pay her like 30 for the night, but they're like, "We'll give you 20 now and 10 when we get back." They did have a lot of faith in her, but they just, that's just kind of like something they did. The parents turn to the subscriber and they're like, "Bye, have fun tonight, guys. Like, we'll be back soon. Like, if you need anything, use the house phone to call us," right? Unfortunately, these guys did not have their own cell phones because their parents were like not a fan of giving kids cell phones at that young of an age. And I didn't get a cell phone for a very long time, so I kind of agree. Anyways, right, so the door closes and the subscriber notices that the babysitter's kind of watching the parents like through the window and watching them like drive away instead of kind of like immediately, because like why would she care about that, right? But anyways, he didn't think much of it. So he kind of like went to his little brother and he went through like the movies because they still at this point, like they were still like DVDs. I mean, I still have DVDs now, but like he was going through the DVDs trying to figure out like where the one he was looking for, right? So he finds the DVD and he like puts it to the side and he notices that the babysitter has been completely silent, right? She was kind of like bubbly, full of energy, really nice, like while the parents were there. But after watching the parents leave the driveway, she almost went dead silent because she was on her phone focused. And she was like typing away. She was like typing up an essay on her phone. Or it turns out she was typing to a lot of different people. So all of a sudden the babysitter is like done typing on her phone and she looks up at both of them and she says, "All right, go to bed." And they're just looking at her like, "What? What do you mean go to bed?" And she's like, "Yep, go to bed, like it's time." And they're like, and the older kid, the subscriber's like, "Our bedtime isn't usually till like 10, right? So it's 6:30 right now. Like what?" And she's like, "No, go to bed." And they're just like, "Are we gonna have dinner?" She said, "Nope." And they're just completely confused at this point. They're just like, okay, because like they were obviously like they weren't happy with what was happening. But they weren't necessarily trying to get in a fight with this babysitter when she was like the clear adult and their parents were not home and like they were the only ones home alone. So they were just like, "Okay, can we make Nope." And they're just like, "Oh, okay." Okay. So the subscriber looks at his younger brother, who is very confused, and it's just kind of looks at him like a little nod to like come upstairs. So the little brother comes with him, right? And they go upstairs, and the older brother, the subscriber, is just like to his younger brother, like, "Dude, I have no idea what's going on. Like, give me a second. I'm gonna try and figure this out." And the younger brother's like, Why is she saying we should go to bed? It's not our bedtime." And the older brother's like, "Dude, I know. Like, I don't know what's up." And he looks downstairs, right? So they have like a stairway that kind of like creeps around. So he can like kind of like creep down a little bit and like peek around to see what's going on. And he sees the babysitter on her phone frantically texting again. So he's like, who is she texting? Why is she acting all weird right now? All of a sudden, the subscriber and his little brother notice that they hear a noise and they hear a knock at the door. And they're like, oh, thank God it's our parents, right? Our parents are finally back. Like, we can explain to them, like, why, like, that we're, like, forced to go to bed at 6:45 instead of, like, 10, and also how we didn't get any dinner, right? And they'll clear this whole thing up, right? So they kind of, like, look around, and they start to walk down the stairs because they're very confident that it's their parents, and then they completely stop in their tracks, and they kind of backtrack and, like, scuttle back up the stairs as quick as they could and as quietly as they could, because was it their parents at the door? I'll give you a hint. No, it wasn't. It was some random, like, shaggy-looking dude who was, like, 22 and was, like, a little sketchy, and they're just like, oh, my God, who is in our house? Pause. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Okay, play. So they kind of, like, run back up the stairs as quietly as possible. And then the subscriber is kind of, like, nods to his brother, like, to be quiet for a second, and he listens. And the guy's like, oh, yeah, what's up? He's one of those guys, right? So he's like, oh, like, this tonight's going to be so crazy to the babysitter. The babysitter's like, yeah, like, it's gonna be, like, a wild night. And the dude's like, aren't you babysitting some kids? And she says, yeah, don't worry about it. I told them to go to bed. And the dude's like, it's like 6:45. Like, really? And she said, yeah, they just did it. It was great. And at this point, this subscriber's starting to realize what's happening, right? He's like, oh, wow, this babysitter is going to take over this house to try and throw a party. So the subscriber and his little brother, they kind of like go back to their room, or because they share rooms, like bunk bed or whatever. And they're just kind of sitting down like, what do we do? And they talk to each other. They're like, okay, we could try and call our parents, but we need to go downstairs to get the home phone, and we're going to get caught. We could also, you know, we don't know what else to do, right? We could also just stay up here and hope for the best. But this is a very uncomfortable situation, to say the least. And then they hear a noise from outside. So they both run up to the window, because they have a window that like looks outside, and it looks outside to the driveway. And they see another car pull up. And after the car's lights go off, they see 4 doors open, both the driver, the passenger, and the 2 back doors open. Just see 5 people spill out of the car and walk towards their house. And the subscriber's like, dude, this isn't going to be like some like little gathering that this babysitter's having at our party or at our house. This is going to be a massive rager party. Unsupervised, like, things are going to get destroyed, right? And she's just going to blame it on us. So the subscriber and his little brother are literally just watching at the window for like 10 minutes as they see 2, 3, 4 more cars pull up, all packed with people. At this point, there's like 40, 45 people they assume who have entered the house. And they can hear it downstairs. You know, kind of like the ambiance of a party of like a bunch of people talking, but you can't really hear individual conversations. But it's just kind of like that buzz noise of like talking. It was that very clearly. They could hear it downstairs. It was like a massive party was going on, because a massive party was going on. His secret word is party. So if you made it this far into the video, I would like you to go in the comment section and comment party. I just want to see how many people made it this far into the video, as I appreciate the watch time. And 2, I will also heart as many of those comments as I can. So if you want to farm some hearts on the channel, comment heart party down below. And yeah, back to the story. So the subscriber's younger brother decide to kind of like sneak downstairs. They don't go all the way downstairs, but they go down the staircase, and they're able to look into like the living area place. And what they see is just so many people. And these people are not like, you know, sometimes like parents will have parties and everyone's like all sophisticated and very like well kept together. No, this was like a degenerate like teenage party, right? It was like the lights were like down low. People were like yelling and screaming. They saw like some stuff knocked over and broken. They saw spills on the carpet already of like some drinks and stuff. It was just a bad time. Then all of a sudden they start hearing music, and they notice that the babysitter herself brought in this big speaker and started blasting music. Like, it was so loud. And obviously everyone at the party was like, yeah, whatever, right? And then like they just kind of creep back upstairs like, there's no way that people don't hear this. Like our neighbors probably think my parents are having some stupid rager, right? And they just go back upstairs, and they just kind of feel defeated. They're like, we can't get downstairs because we're gonna be caught and sent back up here, and maybe we'll have some more of a punishment because we don't know if this babysitter's capable of, right? Anyways, probably at their lowest point when the subscriber and his little brother are just sitting in their room listening to like party music like bounce, listening to like things break, listening to like kids just be crazy, right? They're just like sitting there like, dude, what are we gonna do? And it's like, as the younger brother said that to the subscriber, they see this like this blue light flashing behind them. They're just like, what is this? Did they like bring in some kind of strobe light or something? But the light was not coming from downstairs. The light was coming from outside. And it was a red and blue kind of flashing like that. And then they realize, oh, that's a police car. Scramble to the window to see, the police car, and the police car pulls up into their driveway, and two officers get out of the car. So then they go as quickly as they can and as quietly as they can to the top of the stairs, and they look down, and then they look down at the door, and they hear a firm knock. And the babysitter is the one who goes to answer the door, as she assumes it's another one of her friends. She opens the door and is greeted by two officers. Someone else in the party notices what's going on, turns off the music, and like signals to everyone that it's time to go. And their house had like a back doors, like had a backyard. So there's an exit in the backyard. So everyone started funneling out of the house through the backyard, and they all started hopping the fence, running through their neighbor's yard. So what had actually happened was the neighbor next to them was a couple of a husband and a wife. And the husband went to the party with the parents, but the wife wasn't feeling as good. But she knew that the parents were at this party. So when she started hearing all this loud noise and seeing all the cars in their neighbors, like in their friends' like parking lot, they were like, something's really up. And when they heard it keep going and getting louder and louder, they called a noise complaint. So the babysitter's at the front door. All of her friends have run from the house out the back door. And the two police officers are just looking at her like, all right, we're here. What's the explanation? What's the magical explanation that's going to get us to turn away and make this all good again, right? I hope you have one. However, another car pulled up into the driveway, right? And that was the car of the parents. Apparently, the neighbor had not only called a noise complaint, but had also called the parents about what happened. So they're back, and they're just like, officer, why are you here? Like, what's happening? Why are there so many cars in the front yard? And well, the babysitter had a lot of explaining to do. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. If you want to support the channel, watch another story. There's some on screen right now. Also, Storytime playlist, top link in the description. Bye. In today's story, the subscriber has probably one of the worst encounters with a babysitter of all time. Enjoy. Well, let's call this subscriber Ryan, right? So Ryan's a good kid, right? He's getting a little old for a babysitter at this point, and it's where his parents just don't totally trust him at home. But Ryan is kind of like, Mom, like I'm fine. It's fine, whatever, right? And this is definitely a time where like this will probably be maybe Ryan's last time with the babysitter. And let me just say that this was quite the way to go out. Quite the way to go out with like the last hurrah. This was quite the last hurrah. Anyways, right? So the mom is like, hasn't gotten Ryan a babysitter in a while because they just haven't really gone out to anything or needed one. So she was like, okay, where do I find one of these babysitters, right? So she goes to like, I don't know, a Facebook group or something. Dude, at this point, man, I don't even know where she goes, but she goes to like some kind of like random like local thing to try and find someone. And she finds someone who like, she's never met before, even though they're pretty active like in their town or whatever. But, she meets this like random person, and like, the mom's like, oh yeah, my daughter will happily babysit for you. And, for some reason, right, in retrospect, Ryan's mom was a little suspect about it. That's at least what she told him, like, after the fact. But since it was only a gut feeling, she just was like, you know what, I'm just being stupid. Like, obviously, this person's fine. Like, what am I talking about? They're on Facebook, whatever. If you find someone on the internet, everyone on the internet's perfect. There's not a single sketchy person on the internet that is a fact. No, but, in all honesty, like, go with your gut, man. Like, your gut will sometimes tell you something that, like, you can't even figure out yourself. Like, we've been programmed. We've had, like, thousands of years of evolution, and there's some stuff that just is like, we can't explain it, but you gotta trust it. Anyways, right, so Ryan's parents are going to like a party or something, and Ryan's mom gets in contact with the babysitter. She seems chill enough, right? She seems fine. She doesn't seem like an absolute crazy psychopath, which she kind of turns out to be, and you'll see in a second what happens. But anyways, right, she comes over, and it's the first interaction with the babysitter. The mom is, once again, something just feels a little off. Like there's nothing apparent, and that's the thing. She can't be like, turn around, like we're actually not going out. I mean, she could. It's a free country. You can do what you want, right? But she's kind of just like, something feels a little weird. Something feels a little strange here. And Ryan didn't get any of these vibes. Apparently, this is just what his mom said after the fact. But apparently, his mom was a little sketched out by her, but it was a last-minute pick. They honestly, they just couldn't find anyone else if they wanted to. Like, they really just simply couldn't. And so Ryan's like, okay, like, she seems fine, whatever, mom, like, it's cool, I can kind of take care of myself. And she's like, I know, but this might be the last time, sweetie, right? And they're like, all right, here's my number to the babysitter, and the babysitter, who we'll just call babysitter, because I don't feel like coming up with a name, man. I'm tired. Anyways, right, and the babysitter's like, all right, like, this will be fine, like, I've done this a lot before, don't even worry about it. When are you getting back? And she, like, really, like, she said it in a weird way, and Ryan's mom should have known at that point that something was a little off. And she's like, probably like 1. It's going to be pretty late. There's a chance we get back earlier, but probably not. We'll be out pretty late. The babysitter's like, nice. And that was just kind of a weird response. Like, dude, why would you care? I mean, I guess you guys will see in a second. I'm not going to spoil it, man. I'm not going to spoil these stories. So the parents leave. And, at this point, Ryan has just received a phone for the first time. Like, he got it like a month ago or something. And she looks at him. And she's like, Ryan, if anything, if you need us, you have our number. And, that actually came really in handy. I'm not going to spoil it anyways, right? So the babysitter and, the parents leave. Ryan and the babysitter just chilling in the room. The babysitter's like, hey, like, you look pretty old. So I'm going to kind of let tonight be up to you. If you just want to, like, hang out for a second, then, like, go off and do your own thing in your room, that's totally cool. And Ryan's like, yeah, like, okay, that sounds pretty good. Like, I'm glad you kind of get it that, like, I'm pretty old. Like, I don't need this, right? And she's like, yeah, no, that's pretty cool. Do you want dinner? He's like, no, I already got dinner. And she's like, okay. And she's like, you know what? Honestly, if you just want to go off into your room now and, like, never come down again, I'm not going to say anything. Like, that's totally fine. And Ryan was like, oh, okay. Ryan's like 13 at this time. So he's kind of old for a babysitter, but, like, not, like, ridiculously old. He's not like 15 or, 20 or 40, living with his parents, and he gets a babysitter or something. That's totally realistic and happens. Anyways, right. He's like, yeah, okay, that sounds pretty cool. So Ryan, he goes upstairs, and, he goes upstairs, maybe whips out his Xbox, maybe playing some Minecraft, maybe watching some YouTube videos. I don't know, dude, right? So Ryan's just chilling in his room, right? He's just doing his thing, and he hears a car outside. And a lot of times you might hear a car outside, but it's honestly just like someone driving by. Maybe they're pulling in just to pull in to, like, kind of like go around. I don't know if you've ever done that, but sometimes you'll pull into someone's driveway to, like, get a good angle to turn the other way. So when he heard someone pull into his driveway, he didn't really think anything of it until he looked outside his window, because he didn't hear them pull away, and he noticed that someone got out of the car, and he's like, okay. So when he goes out his window, he sees someone get out of the car, and he's just like a little weirded out. He's like, okay. And the person walks into his house, and he's just like, okay, like, stranger danger. And, the person comes in, and he hears the babysitter greet them at the door. But it's not greeting at the door like, who are you? It's greeting at the door like, oh, my friend, right? Like, oh, my friend, welcome, all that kind of nonsense. I don't know how you greet your friend. Anyways, right, it was obvious that they knew each other. And he's like, oh, okay, the babysitter's having a friend over. That's fine. I'm not going to tell my parents, whatever, right? And if it was just one friend or maybe even two friends, Ryan would have been chill with that. Like, he gets it. But what's about to happen is something he doesn't get. And really, you'll see. So Ryan is just sitting in his room. He's just on Xbox or playing Minecraft or, I don't know, farming Bitcoin. I don't even know at this point, right? And he's just kind of chilling there, and then he keeps hearing cars pull in. And at first he kind of just thinks that, like, okay, she's having another friend over. It is what it is. But he starts to realize that this is not one friend. This is not two friends. This is not even 3 friends. This is like an entire town driving into his driveway. This is like the entire population of the United States of America is entering his house and probably not just gonna like be courteous and like, I don't know, have a nice civilized tea party or something. This is probably about to be a rager. And it's definitely not, approved by his parents. And I'm sure if his parents knew, like, that'd be bad. And at this point, he's like, all right, maybe this won't be bad. Maybe everything will be just okay. Well, Ryan was lying to himself. Ryan was coping super hard. So he's just kind of like, playing Minecraft or whatever. And he's like, okay, I hear a lot of people down there. And he's like, okay, whatever. It's fine. He kept telling himself that. Whatever, like, it's fine. And then he hears something shatter. He's like, oh boy. He's like, okay, I gotta go down. I gotta see what's happening. I gotta do some investigative research or whatever, right? Like, I gotta go down and figure out what's going on. So he goes down the stairs and he finds the babysitter, and she's like with this dude next to this broken lamp. And the guy's like, oh bro, so sorry about it. Wasn't even paying attention. The babysitter's like, haha, like, sorry about this. And the Ryan's like, dude, I didn't know you're gonna have a party. And she's like, well, yeah, your parents aren't coming back for a while. And he's like, can you maybe not have this? Like, I don't mind if you just go on your phone or watch TV or whatever. Because when you're a babysitter, it's easy GG claps for most of your stuff. If you have to babysit like a 3-year-old, that's unlucky. But like a lot of times you send the kid to bed and then you just sit there and you farm money while watching TV or going on your phone. Like, oh my God, it's that easy. I know it's harder than that. Don't go off in the comment section. But he was like, dude, like, you can't just have a party here. And she kind of looks at him. And this is when he realized that this girl is like sketchy, bro. He's like, and she's like, what are you going to do about it? Tell your parents? Are they here? And he's like, hey, yo, like, whoa, hold on a second. She said, you know what? I think it'll just be better if you go up to your room. Just follow the agreement we had before. You do your thing. I'll do my thing. And he was like, okay. All right, I'll go up to my room. Okay, and at this point, he's like, what? Secret word is lamp, so if you made it this far into the video, comment lamp. I just like to see how many people made it this far. It makes me feel good when I see a bunch of comments saying lamp. It also confuses people who don't give me that sweet watch time, which I really do appreciate. By the way, sorry if I didn't heart as many comments in the last couple days. 1, but a ton of comments, which is awesome. Thank you very much. And 2, I was actually out for New Year's with some friends. And yeah, so my fault for like hearting 1.5 comments total. On the drive back, I got to a lot of them, but I no guarantee that you'll get a heart, but I'll do my best to do as many as I can. And yeah, back to the story. But do comment lamp. Also, leave a like for literally nothing. You're welcome. So, Ryan goes back to his room, and he's a little mad because he's like, oh my God, this babysitter's like actually the worst, right? LOL, like that sucks. But he goes back, and he's just like, okay, this can't get worse, right? More people show up. It's no longer just the population of the United States of America in his house. It is the global population plus the 3 aliens that live in Mars, right? It is the whole galaxy's population in his house. More people start pulling up. It's just like they have to start parking on the street. Like, this is insane, dude. And he just like, it gets louder and louder. Then someone starts playing music. He's like, dude, you cannot be serious, man. You cannot be serious. I have neighbors. I live in a neighborhood, right? This is not a frat basement. Oh my God. It starts getting really, really, really loud. Like whatever you thought the loud was, like whatever you were envisioning the volume to be is an understatement. Double that. It was crazy, right? So at this point, he's like, okay, the cops are definitely coming to my house. Or the cops will come tomorrow to my house. Like, we have definitely gotten like 15 noise complaints already. Like, this is insane. And so he eventually is like, oh my God, it's so loud. Like, I'm gonna sneak down. I'm not gonna confront the babysitter because she's obviously like gone off the rails. Like, there's no use talking to this person at this point. I just want to see how bad the damage is. So he walks down the stairs, and his face just goes white because it's even worse than he thinks. He walks down the stairs. The music is blasting. People are everywhere. People brought like food. They brought drinks. It was like a full-on party. And the thing is, people are treating his house like a frat basement. I don't know how many guys have ever been to like a fraternity basement, but let me just say, oh my God, it is the most disgusting place ever. Like, honestly, I think every just disease in the history of the in the entire universe has been concocted, grown, fermented, and spawned in like some kind of frat basement. And they were treating it like a frat basement at this point. Like, it was just spills everywhere. Empty cans, instead of like trying to find a trash, were just on the ground. Because people coming here knew that this wasn't the babysitter's house. They just thought it was like a random house, and they just didn't care. Probably the babysitter even said, guys, this is my house. I don't care how it's left. Which I don't know how she didn't think, any of this would catch up to her. She really did think that, like, oh, when I'm done babysitting, I'll just leave and I'll never see these people again, which is like completely brain dead, but whatever, man. So the kid, he's just walking around. Ryan, man, he's literally walking around, and people are like, what's up, little dude? Like, how'd you get in? And he literally responded, this is my house. And the guy's like, oh, nice. Like at this point, dude, he was like, what? This is my house, man. This is my actual house. Like, you don't understand. Like, someone's like, oh, can I see an ID? Like, oh, you're definitely getting out. The bouncer's told, name 5 brothers, bro. Name 5 brothers. Like, this is my house, dude. This is my actual house. Anyways, right? The thing that really brings Ryan over the edge, the thing that really just makes him tilted beyond tiltability, that's a word now. The thing that really just, boils his blood at this point. You know what that is? He goes into, like, the main room or whatever, right? His living room or whatever, right? And he sees, like, the main table. There's, like, normally some stuff on this table. Like, there's some books, there's, like, little things, right? It's a table that had, like, some stuff on it, right? That stuff was all on the ground somewhere. And you know who was, like, on top of the table? Dancing on the table? The babysitter, dude. Ryan has told me he's never been more tilted in his life. He said that was a point where he was just like, oh my God. And he's just like, he storms up to his room because he realizes that he doesn't have any power in this situation. He's 13, dude. What is he going to do? Fight these people? Force them out of the house? And he's sitting in his room just molding at this point. He's so mad. And he realizes, like, oh my God, wait a minute, I can do something. And he, goes over, he picks up his phone, and his phone is like very limited, but he has his parents' number. He calls his parents, and his mom's like, hi, Ryan, like, how's everything? And he explains, okay, he doesn't take 10 minutes to explain what happened, like the story. He gives like a 30-second rundown, and his mom is silent, and she's like, we'll be there in 10. So Ryan just like sits at his window, and he's kind of on his phone, whatever. He's maybe on Instagram or playing Flappy Bird or whatever you did back in the day. And he's sitting there just waiting for his parents to show up, because this is gonna be a mess, but he's gonna love it because he's not in the wrong. And he's waiting there, and he sees his parents pull up, and they can't even pull up into their own driveway, dude. Like, there's no parking, so they park on the side of the road. And his mom is just like, his mom doesn't go in. His mom sits in the car. And his dad, like, Ryan's dad is a big guy. Ryan's dad is a little scary, like, totally loves Ryan. They have a great relationship, but Ryan's dad's a little scary. And, Ryan just like goes up to his door, kind of like goes out, turns around the corner just to listen. And he hears the door slam open, and he hears his dad yell, everybody out! And you just hear people rush out. People are just rushing out at this point. And his dad is just screaming. He's like, if any of you are still in here in the next 30 seconds, I'm going to pound you all in the face. And he was a big dude, right? Like, it wasn't like some small little guy like, I'm going to fight you, man. I'm going to fight you. No, this was a big dude. And you know what Ryan's mom was doing the whole time? She was basically building a case, man. She had her phone out. She was filming everything. She was filming the people running out of the house. She was filming the cars. She eventually went in and filmed the whole house, right? And she sent it to the babysitter's mother over Facebook or whatever. And basically what ended up happening was, in return for not like calling the police on her daughter, the babysitter's mom basically forced the babysitter to like pay like, I think it was like $750 or like $1,000 for like damages. And that was probably about what it actually was. And also the babysitter was like apparently like grounded. I mean, to be fair, they had no idea if like this was actually enforced, but wasn't like allowed to like see friends for an entire year. Subscribe if you haven't already, and now go watch another story video. All right, bye.